Hello, good evening.
Evening, yes.
It always catches me off guard, that tune. So welcome back. Welcome back to the Women Wise podcast. Janine, how are you doing?
I am well. I'm very well, thanks, Sara, and yourself.
Doing good. Can't believe it's Wednesday again. It's come. Not only do the hours go past, but the weeks go past incredibly fast.
Indeed.
And we are very lucky today. We have an incredible guest. She's a true innovator and a champion for women in tech and sustainability. And she is the incredible Glorianne Montefrio. So, Glorianne, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Sarah, for this welcome and Janine for the invitation. Good evening, everyone.
It's so awesome to have you, Gloria, and absolutely. Listen, we're going to jump right into it. I mean, your journey is just really such an inspiring journey. And I mean, you've got 25 years of experience across various industries, and you've built an absolute remarkable career in strategic consulting, media, and sustainability. I mean, let's just go into it. You're the president and co-founder of Innoverse Global Media,
From
which
yeah,
is
right.
a consultancy that connects people. And I know you
Exact.
a little bit longer than Sarah, and I know you love people and connecting people. So, what sparked this passion for innovation with such a strong focus on social impact?
Right. Growing up, I think I got this from my dad. He is kind of very into people. Though he's an engineer, he's into automotive. And I was just looking up to him. I was like, can that be a mix of very friendly but very strict because he's a professor in college while I was in school. I'm in secondary and he's teaching with the students. So when he's in the platform, I mean the classroom, people would be like super like very serious mode. But then outside, they're like in the Philippines, it's normal to drink with your boss, with your peers and all that. So and I think it's a mix of two, like very professional and at the same time very you could be able to reach out to them. So um that that way I was close to my dad. So biased with my mom. I think I got it from him in doing such innovation in a way, because from little things he can be able to make it magical. For me, it's like wow. I truly admire to have like I have to say he made a card out of scratch, like zero, renegade for his brother. So looking back, I was like, yes, yes. And I'm the one like, starting the car, even the painting and all that. So yes, on the other side, sustainability in the Philippines, us even with other comedian, they always have this Tupperware, like the ice cream bars and all that we could be able to reuse it. So my mom, we're seven in the family. The soda cans, the like takeaway. Oh my
Hmm.
God, trust me. Every Sunday when we're like over mass, my mom was like, "Okay, bring your own cups because we have to replant. Like we can make use of it for trees." And me being like, I'm a diva. Some disclosure. So I was like, no, not me. Like you have other six options, not me. Until I realized the value of sustainability. Like it's already in still in our younger years. So yeah, it's both the parents has taught us how to fully maximize and fully utilize things and can be able to innovate from scratch, and it's possible.
Amazing.
Wow.
So just explain to those of us who don't know everything that you do. What is it? What I mean, you just do so much. So can you sort of
Oh
take us
yeah.
through your journey, and that can
All
maybe
right.
explain to kind of where you are
All
now.
right. Yes, that was my childhood story. I was here in UAE for the last 21 years now. and counting. I graduated as an accountancy. Looking back, I supposed to be in a computer world because, as I've said, my dad is into engineering and my other siblings were into computer engineering. I got my scholarship, yeah. But then I was like, it's just 0 1, it's like, in computer engineering it's just 0 and 1. And then I was telling my mom because I felt like I can do more about people. I could be into HR or maybe like basic psychology and all that. And my mom is also an accountant. She was like, you know what, knowing you're kind of like, I'm very driven. You have to be something that is like, okay, you have a nature to relate with people, but since you're closer to your dad, you have to be something with structure. So yeah, unluckily, Filipinos are into nursing. I really wanted to be in that field, but unfortunately, as I've said, I just got my scholarship into computer engineering. And then that's the time that family has to change location. And I was like, I don't want to pursue an account, like a computer engineering, whereas it's not. I mean, I have good grades. I could be able to maintain my scholarship, but then it's not what my heart is telling me. I'm like, nah, I can't be able to relate with computers and all that. But then, I can speak to my classmates. It's like, hey, I'm more of to that. Like, I'm introvert and extrovert somehow. But then my mom was like, okay, unfortunately, we can't be able to afford medical studies. So might as well go for accountancy because, in accountants, anywhere in the world, they need accountants. So yeah, instead of 0 1, I'm be like 0 to billion. I'm like, okay, be it. So yeah, I graduated as BS accountancy, and then after that, I moved to Singapore for a year. My brother was there, and he's into computer engineering. I was like, not for me. Like, again, I have to find my way. So, fortunately, my uncle who was with Dubai, which is now Emirates Global, was like, why don't you try Dubai? I was like, Dubai. So yeah, as a close um, daughter to my dad, he even wrote me a letter, like, it's still, we don't have internet much before, it's still handwritten. You know what he did? He wrote Dubai, Saudi Arabia. I'm like, Dad. So it was returned to sender. I'm like, Dad, I know UAE wasn't existing before, but then yeah, that's how it grew. And I worked in obviously it was hard to find a job before because we don't have like real transpo. You have to like call for an hour for you to be arranged for pickup and all that. Not everyone is driving in the family, like my uncle here. And yeah, I was like, wow, people are so friendly here, like I can be myself here, like so I work in shipping company, which is the Majid Al Futain now. It was Estalco. I was the only Filipino. I'm like, how am I going? And only woman. Like I was like, how am I going to relate again? I'm like, purely accounting and just like, I'm so. I wanted to do something innovative. Like I think I got it from again from the parents. Like whatever you could be able to make a system out of it, make use of it. Like if it is useful, make it more efficient, make it more structured. And yeah, till date they're still using my formats. Being sent to the banks, being sent
Well
to
done.
yeah. So I got this. And then luckily I was moved to, like, from accounts I was moved to business support, and which was Amlak Finance. I was there for 13 years. So again, with that experience, like business support officer, what does it mean? Like, you have to navigate from paperwork to people to the banks. Again, it's like coordinating. And I think they found out that I'm good in managing, not just documentation, because I'm really like prim and proper in a way of documenting it. But then with people, I could be like, this is the best way to do. Then I could be able to, like, I could just convince just one go. I'm like, okay. Yes, we had this launching with Sky Gardens and Discovery Gardens before. That's 2008, I believe. And then I was like, why are we accepting this much of cash? Because it's not like it mortgage. It's the first mortgage finance in GCC, and I was like, can we make an easier way to make this streamlined? Like how we could. It's neighbor. We're neighbors with banks, but then why can't we just arrange some facilities, like so that way we have increased the way of processes. And I was like creating some drafts of policies and procedures, and I was like grateful also because from there I was like, oh, that can be done, like trust me, even this 3 day 3 day for no 3 day off 4 day off. I have that in my, because we have this think tank in the company, like whoever is having some ideas that you wanted to implement in the company will be awarding you. And I was like, wow, I can do that. So we did that, and it was implemented. This
You have
like
a 4 day week, 3 days off, 4 day working.
no, it was implemented in UAE, I think. When was that? 2 years ago, I think. That working from home and all that stuff. I had it like I had this idea in mind before. Um, the work from home. I was like, anyway, we have a SharePoint, we have all the cloud, and everyone can access. And then if it is needed to be in present, like actual meeting, be there. But it's like getting the freedom of you
Mhm.
being in your own space. So I had that submission as well. The work from home, the 4 day, 3 day day off, and I believe I have also like I, we this is the funny part. We have the company for 19 years, and nobody knows like when exactly is the foundation day, like when it was founded. So I was like, since I was like from business support into accounts, into a PA, into HR, and then finally I'm like, okay, let's do something. Like, I really wanted people to be challenged, like very like, okay, make it more memorable. So we
Mm.
had the first like founding day ever, the company,
I think I
and I
think you
made
just like I think you like to party. I think you like a party.
before that was way before. So we had a like a team building, which is obviously it was the first and unfortunately the last, but it went well. Like I wanted to have like not just purely work, you have to know people, who's with your department, who are the other team members. So yeah, that's the way I was like inspired of, if this not possible, we find ways to make it possible. So that's for me an innovation, not just purely with IGM TV. Okay, the IGM TV, this is a 7 months, 6 months company, but the way people are portraying it is like super big. It's super like filled with women. And I was telling the co-founder, I'm like, they don't know that I'm still like looking for my clone because I'm very in a way I'm very stubborn. And like if I can't make it, I'm out. I have to be like, call it bossy, but because I know what I want, I know what I wanted to
Mm.
implement. So we started with an app. Go looking back, it's like with IGM, we have to create something which is the use of an app, which obviously we're looking at the AI Clio. It's like Siri, Alexa with a face that you could be able to converse using AI. Um, but then how can you be able to have this presented to your end user if you don't have a channel? Like it has to be something with a transparent TV, right? Because it's holographic. You could be able to how would I say that? have the real experience. If it is not metaversy, if it is not holographic, if it is not something that you are beyond the imagination. So yeah, so TV was there. We had it featured at Guest last year, at World Trade Center, and then after
So
that
this
we
is the
got
actual physical TV, because I looked
TV.
at the website and
Yes,
I was like, I'm so
yes,
confused because
it's a
it's TV
TV.
and screens,
Yes,
but it's a media company, and I was like, I can't quite like what. So just explain that to me again. So you actually created a TV,
an actual TV, like
an actual
television.
TV, and
Yes.
how is that TV different? Like, what's unique about it? Because it looked really interesting.
It's
Like it looked like very futuristic looking, I have to say.
Yes, Paul Lee is super into way background of Paul is an innovator in Amazon. He was there for 8 years, and I'm making it like a challenge for him to like, what's the use case of TV? Like, it's turning 100 years in 3 years time, and that's the only technology that was not been touched with the make use of it, the full use of it, because it's still one way, right? It's not conversing like our phone, like you could be able to use of translation and all that. So the TV was made of glass, an OLED glass from LG, and it's a 55 inch. It's transparent. It's app ready. You can have your all apps played there. As you can see in our website, it's touchscreen. It's transparent, and then what we wanted to have the TV make use is to have like a double use. Like if it is morning, you wanted to have your aquarium, or in the evening as your TV or your terrarium, and
Oh,
then if
this
you
is so
wanted
Back
to
to the
sleep,
Future. I love
it
this. This is
is.
this is like something out of a sci-fi movie. It's
I'm
fantastic.
listening and I'm like,
That's
oh my goodness, I would love that.
we actually had it at COP28 at Harriet Watt, where King Charles was. So opposite our booth where King Charles was visiting, and it was like, yeah, fantastic. But then again, it's we didn't end to that alone, like having a physical TV, because again, even at CES in the US, they have the same, like a transparent, very futuristic kind of. But what's the use of it? Because people are like, why I have to pay $100,000 for what? Like,
Mm.
ours is not that, at least 10 times minus. But then I think people are still into, people doesn't want to be the first. People wanted to be like totally, like, Dubai. It's like first, biggest, and not just one go one time, the why we are not into full blast of like marketing it. First, it's because we wanted to make sure that our TV is also like, aligned to what we are aiming to have SDGs, because we
Mm.
reach out to community first. As you see, the IGM news was born because you cannot just have your own TV when you don't have any platform that could be able to link to it. Like, we wanted to incentivize people who are watching sustainable brands, um, like ads or promos, or community that supports the environment, the profit of the community. So that's where IGM News was founded, like the IGM magazine where Janine was featured, because we're into media. So it's like, I wish I could be able to explain to you how much thinking we did here, because it's incentivizing, it's the experience, it's the sustainable like branding and promotion, it's innovation. And
Mm.
we wanted to tap also communities that, you know um, working towards the technology is to real have full use of it. Like, why we have 10 remote controls, 10 boxes, if IGM TV was just like Okay, I'll Cleo play for me or connect me. It's real. Like that's the dream that we are aiming for IGM.
Wow.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I think in this day and age, I mean, you have to think outside the box. You have
Very
to
outside.
go. You have to go. Like, you're so far out the box. You're like,
I
where's
think
the box?
Glorianne threw the box
Where is
away.
the box?
Yeah.
We're universe away. And trust me, at first when we're like explaining to people, like, explain this to me again. So we have to explain like 2 times, 3 times, because people are like, huh? Imagine this.
I think that happens when you have something that's so new and it has such a different, as you said, everyone's used to their TV basically having one function. Of course, we have smart TVs and you can get the internet and everything else, but it's still basically the same function. I think this idea of then connecting it in with communities, with sustainability, with bringing
Awareness, yes.
awareness, but
Campaigns,
having
yes.
it all linked through this, it just sounds incredible. So you've only been going for 7 months. Is it going well?
Yes.
Like, are you getting a good response?
The response is about the investors meeting, which is good, but unfortunately for that matter, we are kind of, I think we thought it is good to be fast, but sometimes it's good to step back and really
Mhm.
look at it in a bigger picture, because as you see, it's not we are competing, because we want to complement. We are already users of LG. By the way, Paul is Korean American, so we're trying to as we speak, we were thinking of manufacturing it in Philippines, in China, or UAE. But then for us to really like jump to how to make this LED, we don't want to do that. Like, we want a complement. If it is LG, then be it LG.
Mhm.
We have the box that could be able to incorporate with the AI. Okay, we don't want to compete with Netflix or Hulu or Amazon. Let Amazon come to us and then be in that platform. Like, that's the community building, right? It's like
Yes.
it, it is basically first the engagement, because you cannot be able to sell products just because I have a product. Like, how we change from BlackBerry to iPhone. Like, I love my BBM. You have to really you have to really first know what is the real use of it. Like, what's the unique of out of it. So since we had the actual TV launch, but then for me, to be honest, it's like it's so lame to be super blasting about it, because we wanted the AI incorporated. We wanted to have I was like, okay. So much into tech, but obviously, I think because of how I am very curious, sometimes it's very bad, because I have my OCD-ness. I when my thinking stops, I'm just like, I need something to feed my thinking again, because I'm very curious. I got it from my parents. I got it from my partners, my teammates. By the way, some of our, I mean, if
Can I
we
just say
have to
your
ask.
microphone has gone very quiet. I don't know if it's just my end or Janine, is it
Yeah, I
quiet?
was about to take, and we just stopped. The sound is going a bit funny there.
Can
Really?
you turn your mic up a little bit? I think it's in the settings. Oh, have we lost you
Oh, now
completely now?
she's muted.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
we've
We
lost
didn't
we,
mean
we
that.
have we have another woman-wise technical hitch.
Always
Okay, I don't know what
fun.
happened there.
Always
Well, while
fun.
we're waiting, so you were featured in their magazine.
Yes, in the IGM magazine. Yeah,
So, well, why don't we talk a bit about that while we're waiting for Glorianne to come back up? So, what was your feature about?
it was just really telling my story as a female entrepreneur, being in Dubai and almost starting fresh, coming from South Africa, of course, and then landed in Dubai, trying to find my feet, and fit in with the dynamics of Dubai, and also, of course, the different cultures, which is so exciting. And telling the story in terms of, you know, what am I giving back? Why am I doing what I'm doing? It's not just a business, it's also giving back and building that community of, you're not alone. There will always be someone that supports you. It was
Because
really a
you
nice
are
little
you are a serial entrepreneur as well.
I am.
I
A
mean,
little bit.
it's quite dangerous when we get on the phone because you're like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, well, I've just decided to go into that business and this business, and it's like, I don't think you have enough hours in the day. And most people who watch the show actually don't really know what you do. So why don't you give us a little rundown of all the things that you do, but in particular, what was featured in their magazine?
Yes, so the business, I've got quite a few businesses, as you've mentioned. I'm also one of those people that I cannot sit still. I always need to have something that's a challenge. I don't want to sit back and say, oh, I should have, would have, could have. That's not someone I want to be. I'd rather try something, and if I don't believe in failing, I believe in learning, because whatever you do and it's not a success, it's something that you've learned and you've educated yourself, and you're a stronger person. And she's back.
Unfortunately, I don't know what happened
We
to
lost you.
my microphone. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. And I'm
It's
back.
very rustly. Are you using a separate mic, or is it your I don't know if
It's
you're
my
on a laptop?
Bluetooth.
It's your Bluetooth. Yeah, it's definitely, it's
Yes.
something, I don't know whether your battery or something, but it's very rustling.
Oh, let me try again.
That's a little bit
Wait,
better, wasn't that?
that's better now?
Much better. Yeah.
Yes.
All
Yeah,
right.
we can hear you now.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry, guys. So I'm
It's
back.
okay.
I
So
think
so
it's
Janine was just telling us that because obviously she was featured in your magazine. So we were just
uh-huh.
discussing another serial entrepreneur. I think there are so many women here who, you know, they don't just do one thing. They don't just do
No.
one thing.
That's us.
It's
That's
multiple,
us.
multiple things going at the same time. I ordered a pinboard the other day, but it was actually too big because I was thinking, no, I actually need to have everything that I'm doing as well up in front of me. So Glorian, so you're doing the TV, you're doing the magazine, you're looking to connect communities. Is this your full-time job now? Are you still working as an
Yes,
accountant? Yeah.
yes, yes. This is fully into it. Like some of bits and pieces with friends who needed some, consultancy, some marketing guidelines and strategy. Yes, we're happy to help them with anything. Again, just to continue with IGM, what we have found out, like people are still new to it. They can't be able to relate to it. And imagine if we're talking about my siblings who are into computer engineering in Singapore, in Australia, in Philippines, and we're the number one gamers in the world, they're like, what are you talking about? What's AI? What's metaverse? I'm like, oh my god, are we like 20 years further now? Because obviously, when you're in this tech world, it's like, you know, the chat
Fast.
GPT, the I'm like, sometimes I get dizzy because I'm like, okay, next move, like what's next? Like, working with Paul and one of our director of program was from Microsoft, Mr. Roberto. So having brainstorming with this man, like full of whoa, I'm like, I'm like, syntax error. Can you repeat that for me? It's so like, but which is good. I think I really appreciate working with these people because I I can't be down to this kind of level, because the way my mind works, it's like even in my dream I was like, okay, what's tomorrow, what's next, which is very bad, which is super bad. I know, I admit, because sometimes I tend to be like, my life is just work, purely work. Like, they we have party. Sometimes we have like party with team, and I was like, what's happening to this? I'm like, we're into party. You have to calm down. So they always like, calm down. I said, okay, I forgot. Forgive me. But
I
then I'm like,
remember when
hello.
I remember when
Well,
I
that's what
met
happens.
you.
That's what happens when you're passionate about what you do, though.
Exactly. I was
Yes,
about to say
yes.
that. I remember when I met Glorianne for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl's energy, I need some of it, because you were constantly talking in such a way that I was like, okay, tell me more. I'm not sure what you're saying, but tell me more. And that's what I absolutely love about you, Glorianne. And you're such a big advocate for empowering women in the tech sector. Why is this such a crucial piece of the innovation puzzle to you?
Oh yes. With numbers, we are very much far from tech related. It's just 27%. Imagine. So if in the long run, like I quitted computer engineering, so what would be the world would be? But then, mind you, my sister is into IT. um I think the world is changing right now, because the younger years, we have to consider, because of the technology, some women, some girls are like, being empowered of them, especially we're in the gaming world right now. I met um super big stars in the gaming industry, into tech industry. What is the common, like, comment is, we we're the aging ones. we're like we're in our 40s and above, and like, who's next, like, who are the successors? So yeah, unfortunately, it's still not being, passed to the younger ones, of how to really, I have to admit, maybe because of the social media, that it's like 15 seconds, kind of,
Mm.
everything is fed, everything is delivered, everything is given. So I think it's also time to, that's why I wanted, in the beginning, I wanted to have podcasts for the young ones, because we don't know what they are really like struggling, like, depression is very high, the
They are
mental.
our next generation. They need our help
Yes,
and guidance. Agree.
yes, yes. And for me, I've been surrounded with like RTA. We had a project before. There were like 50 youth. We mentored them. They're great. Like the Emiratis, the young Emiratis. I'm like, oh, hands down. Like they're very smart. It's just that we cannot just be like focused in UAE alone, because it's a global concern. We wanted to. I met this young entrepreneur. I forgot her name. She's into sustainability and innovation, and I was like, where were you now? Because because of how things are, they need the mentorship, they need guidance, they need to have like somebody to pull them, like, hey, continue doing that, like we are rooting for you. So we lost that, especially with young women, because the pressure is so high. The competition is very, you have no idea, like, they're sending me their CVs, and I'm like, oh, it's like all the same. Like, they're very smart. They're very, but the opportunity, that's why we wanted to, it's a dream. We wanted to have IGM, a big company, for us to really give an opportunity, because
Mm.
the young ones has to learn not just into tech, but the community. They forgot to really converse with people. Like, they could be able to
Well,
text you hi when we're like sitting next to
yeah.
each
I
other.
mean,
I'm like, yes.
that's the big factor, is like how, learning how to communicate actually face to face.
Mhm.
It is a dying
Very
art.
bad.
You know,
Very bad.
But also, I mean, actually, I'm just thinking about it now in terms of most people, obviously, when they come to the UAE, they come with experience, they come with qualifications, they're not starting out really. But it looks like maybe the landscape is changing a bit in terms of graduates actually starting in the UAE. Do you think that's a fair comment? Are there opportunities for young people here? Like, will companies take them on, or is it still a big challenge for them?
For my case, we that's why we started with the complementary of, posting the community leaders, because we don't know that there's an opportunity for them to have internship. For instance,
Mm.
there are some college students that reach out to me. They wanted to do an article. I was like open to it, but then I have to say, the younger generation has no. I don't know if that's the right word to say. They can't be able to really like do a cheerleading. We need to have like a follow up, follow through, and all that. I have to say this from my personal experience. They their memory is like, oh, I thought we have discussed this yesterday. So what happened? Like, it's I think it's very
Too
I don't
fast
know.
paced for them, too confusing.
It's not confusing. It's like they don't have this
You know what it is? Do you know what it is?
drive.
We
Yes.
have outsourced everything to this. Our memories, our phone numbers, our contacts, our communication, texting, everything. I mean, young people today, like this is part of their life. Like it's almost like it's surgically attached to their hand. Um, and I suppose the question is, there are some skills that we still need to make sure young people have, but we also need to check in with what skills do they have that we don't have. That
Mm.
for them, actually, they're communicating with their generation their way. We might not,
Super.
we might not
Mm,
see it as being effective, but actually, you know,
It is.
uh, it's
Mm.
it's a
true.
different, it is a different generation. It's a very different mindset, and yeah, I mean, obviously, concentration span and attention span is definitely
Yes, that's the right
reducing,
word. The
um,
concentration,
Mm.
attention span. Mm. But
which is
then and
worrying. But
again,
then you're thinking, okay, but we didn't have AI, we didn't have Google, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have all the things that. My theory is this: we need to be more human than ever now.
mm,
We need,
which
yes, we can
is
outsource things to computers and
mm,
very clever algorithms, but there's a human element that we really need to nurture young people.
100%, 100%.
Well,
Yes.
I wanted to just say, at the end of the day, if there's no humans, who's your client?
Yeah, yeah.
True.
So, yeah,
Um,
you have to have that relationship and human contact. We are made for relationships, and having business relationships and those collaboration, like-minded people, that's what makes the world go round.
hmm,
That's why I
100%.
think the whole concept of bringing communities together using technology is
Technology. Yes.
definitely the way. So what's your ultimate uh vision? Like if you think, say, like 10 years down the line, where would you ideally like to see this? What would be
What
your
what
big picture?
what we actually wanted to not solve, but we lost the community value. Like we used to sit down in a big sofa watching at the same TV. We didn't have this like, hey, because the technology that separates us is our addiction to phone. Like, we lost the real, sit down with family and say, how's your day, how's your family. Like you could be able to, let's say, if Cleo was already live, you can sit down, the five of you, talking to your grandma on the other side, like as one, like a bigger laptop, but everyone is covered. Like, we could
Mm.
have that in a community back again, like learning together. We wanted to ensure that family values are still instilled, because we kind of, um, maybe because of the technology that is overly like exposing our younger generation, we wanted to ensure that they are aware of the global environment's
Mm.
concern. We wanted them to know, like, we have to be sustainable. We have to reduce the plastic use, because TV is 24% plastic. We wanted to ensure that since you are educated, you can pass on to your younger years, like younger peers. We lost this kind of humanity. That's why we call it humanity in TV. It's humanity TV because it's a Clio that could be able to converse. Let's say you wanted to clone your daughter's voice to say, "Good morning, mom. Wake up. It's time for your medicine. Mom, your AC is too cold. You've been sitting for 6 hours watching TV. It's time for you to do stretching, your yoga." Like, why not? Because the elder generation need some companion, somebody to talk to them, somebody to really like an assistant. So that's
Mhm.
our goal. Like we wanted to retrieve back what is real living. Like if there's a technology, the proper use of technology, the good technology, not just because we're destroying trying to make profit out of it. No, we wanted to have sustainability. We wanted innovation that is real, that we could be able to combine all the the apps and make it
Mhm.
easier. We wanted community to be sitting and learning together, the family especially, and make use of AI as a good AI, not just destroying AI, like copy paste AI. I
I
I
think
wish.
you're definitely preaching to the choir here, Glorianne. But it can be quite challenging for women to navigate the tech industry, right? What advice would you give to our listeners who aspire to make their mark in this space?
At first, you really have to circle yourself with experts. That's my secret sauce because I have to admit I'm like, oh, you're talking about French now. So for me to really catch up is I have to have mentors. I have to have experts. And if I have the willingness, I'm very willing to learn. You have to be curious. People nowadays are into easy access kind of,
Mhm.
but you got to learn from your own. You have to be if you wanted to do change, you have to start from yourself.
Mhm.
As a
Absolutely.
woman, you have to be wise.
Oh,
This is
look!
why you're
Did you
on
see what
Women
you did?
Wise
Did you see? Did you
podcast.
see what you did?
Very wise. I always like give gratitude to those mentors because I've been
Mm.
surrounded with great experts here, especially in UAE. When people are like, "Hey, talk to Gloria," and I'm like, "Wow, what impact I have made to this person?" When people are just referring to me, we're like, it was just a 5-minute conversation, but then again, because you're speaking your truth, you're very authentic of
Mhm.
what you wanted to do and what you wanted to change. So since I had at the beginning, I'm having a hard time, like, what is this thingy? Like, they have to navigate the TV thing. I'm like, huh? Is there such thing? So I have to learn that. I have to Google every time. But then again, if a woman like me could be able to reach where I am right now, how much more with the younger generation? They're very smart. Like, I'm not even half of their brains. But then again, if you're really willing and you're really into something and you wanted to make a change, you have to love yourself first. Because if you don't, women like us, we're more into, unfortunately, into filters and all that. But then beautifying, but beautifying your brain first.
Mhm.
That's for me. And
I love that.
technology, yeah, and technology has to be something which is a make real use of it, not just
Mhm.
basically having a technology. Technology is already available everywhere, but if the make use of it, it's not helpful or just destroying the humanity. So that's not for us.
Responsible and sustainable.
Yes,
And I
indeed.
love beautify your brain. I love that. It's all about believing in yourself, right? And don't be afraid to take those risks and take a take a chance on your dreams, chase them, you
Yes,
know.
yes,
But I love
yes.
what you said. You've mentioned, sorry, Sarah, you've
That's
mentioned
it.
a few things about you working with quite a few of men as well. And you've mentioned mentors. And I think it's so important to have your tribe and your cheerleaders. And I think also men play quite a vital role in that supporting system in our ventures. So I think
Indeed.
with Father's Day that's passed, I think we need to take our hats off for those who are supporting us and are our mentors. Absolutely. Because as you said earlier, you need them. Once you've believed in yourself, you need those experts, and
Yes.
it's pretty vital indeed.
Yes, indeed. So, greeting the team from the founder, Polly, Roberto Yusinich, our director of program, Gustavo Giller, Scott, Andrew, and Chris, a dealer in the US. These men that I have worked with, I salute them because, they're into um, tech space, education space, and humanity space, which I think as a woman, we already have that in ours. It's innate. Like, we could be able to juggle things, but we cannot be the master of all. You need to have separate people to have the mastery into one to form into an innovation. That's why innovation is very crucial in a
Mm.
way that there's a mix of balance, like it's formulating a new brand. Um also failure is very needed, because if you just go fast car, you can't control the speed. So what we are trying to say, it's not that we consider ourselves failure if we didn't reach to where we are trying to reach in the next 10 years, but it has to be well thought, it has to be well strategized, it has to be with human first, like what is the real need of humanity first, because
Mm.
that's the missing part. We have all the technology, trust me, even bigger than IGM of the innovations, but then why that, why them, why not us? So we have to really first ensure that it's like handmade, well done, well, it's fully packed, and here you go. That's what we are trying to achieve here in terms of innovation, and making it impactful in a way into sustainable way.
That's amazing. I'm
It's
just blown away with all of
sounds like an
this.
incredible journey, I have to say, and it's been
Too.
incredible to speak to you because your energy, you can definitely see. It's great
Amazing.
fun to work. It's great fun to work with. I think you probably keep everyone on their toes, as you said, even at a party.
It's hard. It's hard to be a
Yeah,
team member of mine. Well, that's their challenge. But well, so far so good. When sometimes I have this moment, like, the momentum has to stop, I'll be like, ah, but then it's good because you have these team members to say you're doing good. You need to have somebody to, like, hey, calm down, you're doing right. You sometimes you feel like, I failed again, like, but working with men, I have to say, for me, it's super easy. It's easier because they could be able to just, like, straightforward, you're
Mm.
wrong in this, like, there's no drama, there's no there's no filtering, there's no, like, and I think because I got it from my dad, like, you have to be straightforward if what you wanted to tell, mean what you want to say. And I was like, yeah, great, great, because I don't need some crying moments and all that dramas, just
Mm.
like purely get it done. So that's how I wanted to teach, I think, young, especially young women. If you have, I'm grateful because I had a dad, and I have team, a partner of like very sportive with what I wanted to achieve. But then if you don't have, it's time for you to reach out to your mentors. It's time for you to connect
Mm.
with LinkedIn. There are people available, It's just that
Yeah.
what you really wanted to do. It's that question.
I suppose it's helping people to have the confidence to do that as well. I know, I mean, young people, if you're worried about doing things wrong, you imagine someone young coming in and not having that I mean, I always think if I knew 20, 30 odd years ago what I know now, it would be I'd be in a very different place.
Yeah.
Because I also was I was an engineer. It's actually my background. Most people, it's okay. I always say I've been decommissioned. I'm safe. I'm safe to go. Decommissioned engineer. But I totally know what you're saying in terms of dealing with men is a completely different story than dealing with women, and I think we bring a different view to things and a different way of doing things. But I think it's how do we balance it? How do we get that balance of people who you're working with? And I think, I mean, it's not for every woman, I have to say. Not every girl is
Yes,
able, to
yes.
go into a field like this. They have to be a very specific type of personality, and I think it's
Mm.
finding those and nurturing those girls. Because it's about giving them the opportunities and helping them to shine. I think is going to help
Oh, for
humanity, as
That's
you
sure.
said.
why.
You've
That's why
got
we
to
have
bring
this
that.
voice. Right. Thank you
Yeah,
for
and I think
that.
it's quite vital for in terms of communication. It's so important to have effective communication. Um, I think especially in the innovation world. And
Yeah.
I think my question really here, Glorianne, is how can women improve their communication skills to become even more impactful leaders?
I think for me, if you have to go out from your comfort zone, me growing up, I'm not this kind of blah blah blah. I'm very like into the side. I'm just behind the background. But then I pushed my limit in a way that I have to do improve myself. I had studied. I mean, I was in Toastmaster. Siri was listening. Sorry, it was Siri. So I did my Toastmasters. I had my certifications. I did a lot of presentation skills. I have to improve the public speaking. I've been hosting TV shows. I've been hosting, name it, because I wanted it. I have to get it. So I have to make a plan this year. I always like, when you study strategy, I'm like 10 years from now, how to make it daily wise. So day one, day two, and it's your responsibility as a human. If you wanted to be at your comfort zone, so don't expect change. Never at all. So since it's very doable if you have a drive, if it is your calling. Actually, Sarah was right. I have to agree with that, because not everyone is like you. Like, people would say, what she's into, like, why she's all over. Like, people would say, again, you again. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm into fashion, I'm into events, I'm into tech, I'm into sustainability. I'm like, what can I do? So I am like very octopusy. But then that's the beauty of it, because I have the opportunity to just say no or yes, because I
Mm.
know what I want now. I know
Mm.
where I'm leading to, and I have a strategy to achieve. So that's for me.
I love
it's
that.
it's
Try
it's
everything
such.
and keep the good.
and
Yes,
and
yes. And once you master it, make a community out of it and make a legacy. So
And
that's
do you have like do you get coaching? Do you go and like do you have like a team that you kind of that help you to sort of
yes,
achieve your
yes.
goals? So yeah.
Yes, yes. I actually did it for them. I love it. I'm like at first it was strategy planning, but now I call it ikigai because it's not just making it for the company. It's you yourself. I love to find like, okay, but trust me, until now I'm still navigating. I auditioned for workshop acting. I did some. I'm still into it. But then I'm enjoying the
You're in very good
journey.
company here, Glorianne, I have to say.
Thank you, Sara. but then again, for us to really um it's it's sad because I can't stop. This is the biggest problem with me. It's like I can't stop, and people are like, enough. Even my mom's like, enough. You don't have to prove. I'm like, I'm not proving. Also, I'm just happy the way I am. Like,
Yeah.
it's like
I think if people are not like that, then they don't get it. They just it's
Yes.
exhausting
mhm,
probably just even listening to you. They're like,
yes,
no, but I
so
think
much
actually
energy.
going I mean I love one of my favorite quotes is, you don't get greatness from the comfort zone,
Yes,
and that's
correct.
absolutely it. And I think having finding people who can help you, because I think sometimes when people think they have to go beyond the comfort zone, they've got to do it on their own. But
Mm.
exactly as you were saying, like you can find a mentor, you can find a coach, you can find, your tribe who can, help you to do that, because collaboration, not competition, it's such an important message, I think, these days. I think, I don't think any of us now can really do what we want to do on our own. We need to find the right people,
We need people, right
the
team,
right
and
people.
right strategy also. Because even you have the right team, and if you don't have a right strategy, how you could be able to make it happen? Like, has to
Mm.
be bits and pieces to create a car, just like my dad.
A car,
So
and then
yeah,
you can program your sat nav. You need to know where you're going. Otherwise, how do you know how to get there?
exactly.
Well, I can't
Absolutely.
believe we're coming up to the hour.
I know, right? And the insights, Glorianne, they were pure gold. It is such an inspiring just
Thank
listening to
you.
you. And just a quick one in terms of our listeners. We will share this obviously in the YouTube channel, but just quickly, how can people, find more about you and your amazing work?
I have three persona. I have my crazy one on TikTok. I have my glam life and super crazy life in IG, and I have my LinkedIn. I'm kind of behaving there, but I'm trying. I'm still there, the same me. So my LinkedIn, I think, is much appropriate because I could be able to help you. I have 17 followers, 17K followers, and yeah. Since we are talking about reaching out anytime, they could just DM me. I have so many DMs right now that I could be able to say, be what you want to achieve, to
Mhm.
be like cold. You are meant to be awesome. So don't stop there. I think
Love
I
it.
think we are getting depressed because we didn't find who actually we are. I
Mhm.
mean, that's my realization just 2 days back, because I was like, I'm still trying who I wanted to achieve, but then I saw it now. I saw it now, and thank you for this opportunity, ladies.
Oh,
I so
thank you
love
for
it.
coming on and chatting to us. It's been all over the place. It's been great. I love conversations that go on tangents and then we come back. We've covered so many topics. I think it's just incredible. Glorianne, thank you so much for being
Thank you
here.
so much.
No, it's been absolute fantastic having you here. And that's what it's all about, is talking to empowered women, inspiring women of Dubai, and just showcasing their journeys, achievements, and of course, wisdom. And absolutely awesome. So I think if you like this episode of Amazing Glorianne, then don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I think there's something about a coffee, Sarah?
Yes, you can buy us a coffee. You can buy Janine, not an actual coffee. It's called Buy Me a Coffee. So I think sometimes people think, Why would I buy them a coffee? It's 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. They don't need a coffee. It's not. It's just a very nice little gesture where you
Nice.
can donate to us or buy me a coffee. And
Oh,
the link is
nice.
down below the video.
Please, guys.
Because we are going to go big. We're going to go much, much bigger. Women Wise podcast is going to get. We're going to be out and about. We're going to be doing all kinds of things after the summer.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, but we've got more shows coming out. We're not stopping this summer. You'll still be able to tune in at 8 o'clock. Excuse me, on a Wednesday night. I've lost my voice. Janine, you
go. So, people, this is a wrap. Thank you so much for our listeners and our guest, Glorianne. Have a fantastic week further. And remember, stay wise.
Stay wise.
Women, be wise.